Welcome into the latest episode of the Huddle Up Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Sharp, and here we talk all things related to the NFL. Today, I want to look at the New York Giants. They have made a kind of interesting move at the quarterback position, and apparently they're not done yet, whether it's in free agency or the NFL draft. We'll get into it right now. So over the weekend, it was announced that the New York Giants have signed Jameis Winston to a 2-year, $18 million deal. If you remember, the Giants were kind of in this whole Aaron Rodgers saga. It seems like maybe they have moved on from that. They have the third pick in the NFL draft. What are they going to do there? Are they going to take a quarterback there? Most people, myself included, believe they should not do that because they don't have the roster to compete quite yet. Well, if you look at it and say, okay, well, they signed Jameis Winston to a 2-year deal. He's going to be their bridge quarterback. Quarterback position in New York is done. Now, whether that's the right guy for the job, I personally don't think it is. If anybody knows me, you know that I am not very high on Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, the person, seems like a great guy, super funny. Jameis Winston, the quarterback, I'll pass on that, at least as my starter. That may actually be the Giants' outlook on it as well. Because while they signed Jameis Winston, Mike Florio has reported that they view Jameis Winston as their backup quarterback. And there is another key free agent quarterback that they still have their eye on. No, it is not Aaron Rodgers. It's Russell Wilson. All accounts now are that the Pittsburgh Steelers are pretty much set to move on from Russell Wilson. They're kind of all in on this Aaron Rodgers basket. Now, does Rodgers sign there? I don't know. He'll probably go do another darkness retreat, get hyped up on ayahuasca, make a decision when he is good and ready to. But it certainly seems like target number one for the Pittsburgh Steelers is Aaron Rodgers. But Russell Wilson might still be in play for the New York Giants. If that's the case, you will sign Russell Wilson. He will be your starting quarterback, at least for this season. And then Jameis Winston will be that veteran backup. That tells me one of two things. One, you're probably not drafting a quarterback this year in the draft. Because, look, you have the third overall pick. All accounts are that Cam Ward is going to go number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. If Shedeur Sanders goes 2, okay, fine. You weren't taking a quarterback there anyways. I get Jackson Dart's kind of rising up boards. You probably weren't taking him third overall. However, I don't think the Browns take Shedeur Sanders. They signed Kenny Pickett as a backup. They were kind of in this Russell Wilson saga as well. They're still not totally out of it. But I don't think that the Giants will draft a quarterback this year in the NFL draft because of the Jameis Winston move, especially if they get Russell Wilson. So that tells me one thing. Number two, tells me that the New York Giants kind of think they can compete right now. Because if you're not going to take a quarterback first round, maybe you take a flyer on a guy round 3, round 4, round 5. Hopefully he can develop into something. But I think if you're signing Russell Wilson, you think that's going to be your quarterback for the next 2 seasons. Because you're obviously not going to grab someone like a Russell Wilson and sign him to a 1-year deal. I don't see that happening. Maybe they will if Russ thinks he doesn't have any more options, but the Cleveland Browns already showed interest in it. I think that the Giants are doing this on a 2-year plan. Because if they don't draft a quarterback here, they're going to get one in next year's draft, the 2026 NFL draft. I firmly believe that next year's NFL draft, a lot more quarterback friendly than this year. People ask me all the time, hey, which quarterback would you take in the first round? Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, or Jackson Dart? My answer is none of them. I don't think any of these quarterbacks should go in the first round. Now, it's the quarterback position. Teams are desperate for the next big things. They're going to reach on guys. 2 of them, probably all 3 of the guys I just mentioned, going to go in the first round. I don't think any of them are first round worthy. Also, what does this mean for Joe Shane, the general manager, and Brian Daboll, the head coach? The Chicago Bears were heavily criticized going into last season about keeping Matt Eberflus. Everyone knew that Matt Eberflus was a dead man walking, and everyone said, hey, Caleb Williams is coming in next offseason. He's going to have a new head coach, a new GM. He's basically going to have his rookie season all over again. Maybe that's something else the Giants don't want. Maybe they don't want to grab a guy this year knowing they're going to fire Daboll and Shane and have him start all over. So maybe they will bring in a rookie and have him start next season. I don't think they're going to get a quarterback in this draft, though. You don't grab a Russell Wilson potentially and a Jameis Winston and then draft a 4th quarterback because they already have Tommy DeVito still on the roster. Tommy DeVito's already been re-signed. Now, is Tommy DeVito going to be your starting quarterback? No, but what have we seen from Tommy Cutlett so far? He's a solid backup quarterback. He can come in a pinch, start some games, and potentially do some nice things for a team. So if you sign Russell Wilson, that gives you Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito. I don't think they sign a quarterback. So if they don't, how far does Shedeur Sanders fall? He's not going to go 2 to the Browns. I don't think he might, but I don't think he does. I don't think the Giants take him at 3. The Patriots are not taking a quarterback at 4. The Jags are not taking one at 5. I thought 6 with the Las Vegas Raiders might be the perfect spot for him, but since they traded for Geno Smith, I think it's Ashton Genty all the way for them. I don't think they take him. The Jets, maybe not. I mean, that would kind of be the only team. If not, it's not the Jets. I don't think the Saints at 9 are going to do it. And then the few teams behind them, 10, 11, 12, I don't see any of those teams doing it. So, I mean, there's a chance that if Shedeur Sanders is not taken by the Browns or the Giants, he could plummet down draft boards, go like mid-teens possibly. We see it happen all the time. I mean, it was 2 years ago. Everybody thought Will Levis potentially could be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. He didn't get drafted until the 2nd round by the Tennessee Titans, and they're already trying to move on and replace him. This Russell Wilson domino is going to be interesting. It's going to show what the future of the quarterback position potentially could be in New York, the future of Shedeur Sanders, where he gets drafted, which team wants to bring him in, and who goes to the New York Giants and how high of a draft pick they have next season in the 2026 draft. So, you could roll with Russell Wilson for multiple years. You could go with him or Jameis Winston this year and draft Shedeur Sanders at 3 overall, have him sit for a season. Or you could not grab a quarterback. You could sign Russell Wilson on a 1-year deal and grab a quarterback in the 2026 NFL draft when you have a new head coach and a brand new GM. Out of all 3 of the options I just gave you, I think by far the best option for the New York Giants is option number 3. Sign Russell Wilson on a 1 to 2 year deal. You can cut him after year 1 if you want to, if it doesn't work out. And then you can grab a quarterback in the first round of 2026. There's going to be a ton of them. Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning potentially. I mean, there's a ton of talent coming out in 2026. And then even if you don't have Russell Wilson in 2026, you can bring in one of the talented rookies and prepare for them to be the starting quarterback. And if not, you still have a veteran behind him in Jameis Winston that could kind of help him learn the ropes a little bit. I think that's your best option. But if you're signing Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, you're also telling me that you're not a serious franchise. This team cannot win this year. I think we all knew that coming into this, but there's a lot of options for the Giants. However, I think that the New York Giants, like they always have since Eli Manning left, have no idea what they're going to do at the future of that position. This is a franchise that doesn't have a clue. I don't think they have a clue. And again, while the options I laid out are all nice options, are we really going to sit here today and say we trust the New York Giants to make the right decision? It's interesting times in New York. I would not want to be a Giants fan because just past tells you they're going to make the wrong decision instead of the right one. But we'll see what happens. Russell Wilson, Shedeur Sanders, Jameis Winston, one of those guys likely going to be the quarterback for the New York Giants next season. It'll certainly be entertaining to watch. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Huddle Up Podcast. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, comment. I love to interact with all the listeners and the viewers, and we'll be back on the next edition of the Huddle Up Podcast.